last video, I examined which of Mario Kart 8's base courses I, as a mere human, could run through. And you all let me know that you wanted to see the DLC courses as well, and thank you so much for letting me know that. So here I am today to take a look at the DLC courses in Mario Kart 8. We looked at these last time, and now we're looking at these. Now this doesn't include the booster pack courses, but if people are still into it by the end of this, that one could have a whole video of its own. To rehash the basic rules that I established in the last video, boost pads and other things like that aren't going to affect me as a human, the coins on the track aren't going to be considered, and we're pretending like we have special shoes that allow us to run on the parts of the track that use anti-gravity, since this video wouldn't be very fun if we didn't. And also, although I am pretending for the purposes of this video like I possess the average human's ability to run, I'm merely a phony, as running is in my bottom 10 activities in life. That being said, let's go! Right off the bat, Yoshi Circuit is looking pretty quaint, giving me a mixture of Mario Circuit and Toad Harbor. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this is what the first level of a Mario Kart game should be, you know? Like, this is way more simple than Mario Stadium, and that's the actual first course of the game, so that's a little bizarre. What can I say? This course is simple. Maybe, dare I say, even a little dull. There's something about these Yoshis that are waving. They just kind of have, like, soulless eyes. I don't know, something's bumming me out about this level in a major way. Maybe it's the fact that the sky's kind of gray? Am I the only one who feels this way? Let me know in the comments. I feel like I'm getting seasonal depression in this level. This level feels like it's supposed to be comforting, but isn't. You know what I mean? I don't know, maybe I'm losing it. Either way, Yoshi Circuit is runnable. Oh my god, Excite Biker does not look fun right off the bat. Are you joking? These hills? Oh, was that a jump? Was that doable? Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, this looks like an absolute nightmare. You have to whine to avoid all these. It's all just extra work. Like, you don't run here for fun. This is like a straight up Olympic event. It's like a course straight out of Physical 100. You have these weird particular puddles of melted chocolate that you'd probably want to avoid. This is pretty inconvenient having to run through the grass here. All in all, the whole level is definitely going to make my bottom ranking of which levels I would like to jog on so far. This is terrible. Oh, that's a big drop. Okay, pause. So I try to look at these things from a realistic perspective here and keep ratios in mind. Like, if I'm 6 foot, that's like an 18-foot drop. I looked up the height that a person can jump from without sustaining injury, and I found a post on the Ask Science subreddit where this one person who describes himself as a parkour athlete said they could jump a maximum of 16 feet without injury. And the person under them said 10 to 15 feet without injury is pretty normal, again, for parkour athletes, and we're just looking at the average human here, who's likely not familiar with the proper tuck and roll technique. Then further down, someone points out the EMT rule is 3 times a person's height is considered a critical fall. So listen, I'm looking at whether or not your average person could make this jump and then continue running as usual, and from what we've just read, this is a really dangerous jump. It's easy to sit at your computer and be like, I can make that jump, but I'm looking at the numbers and I'm saying you're not running it. Now go to your room. Excite Bike Arena is unrunnable. I can already tell Dragon Driftway is gonna be a trip. Just want to make sure that this jump here wasn't anything too wild, and we're good to go. Now again, we're lucky that we have our anti-gravity shoes for this course, because this one really puts them to use. This would be absolutely wild. Honestly, if you get motion sick, you might have some trouble with this course, because it is winding. But it's a very interesting course visually. Like, it's very aesthetically stimulating, so I'll give it that. We also normally don't like hills, but at least these are downhill, so I appreciate that. And then that takes us to the end. Dragon Driftway is runnable. Now right off the bat, I see a celestial body, but fear not, Mute City is meant to be a fictional city set on Earth, so there's still oxygen available and therefore can still be considered. And this one has a lot of pretty lights on the ground, which wouldn't do anything to me as a human, so ignore the fact that I'm going faster here. And oop, that's a big one. Let's check it out, see what we're dealing with. We're gonna consult the judges, and the judges say that even if we could make this, there's another jump further down that we couldn't make, so Mute City is unrunnable. If we're all being honest, Baby Park is probably the one I would have the best shot of actually running in real life. But even then I would definitely struggle, seeing as half this course is on a pretty steep incline. A lot of visual stimulation going on in this one since oh, that's the end of that level. Such a weird setting for this one when you think about it. What was your favorite part of the theme park, Jimmy? My favorite part was running in a circle at a steep incline on an empty track for a long time. I wish I could go to the Baby Castle instead. Do they have turkey legs here? Baby Park is runnable. Okay, if Cheeseland is entirely made of cheese, the first step is not passing out from the smell right off the bat. And this Cheeto dust in the air is pretty revolting to think about breathing in. It also turns out that running on cheese is not only pretty gross, but dangerous, as these craters are ankle spraining material if you don't watch where you step. I cannot stop thinking about the smell of this place. Then we have this jump here that's definitely not going to be clearable. Now I know some of you are thinking, but why don't you just go around and climb up this way? You're missing the point of the video. It's the same reason that I don't count swimming super long stretches, even if it is feasible. It's all about, can you get through the course while maintaining the integrity of the course and not getting too far off track? The course calls for going up around this way and then jumping to this side. Going a different way breaks the integrity. Otherwise, we could just loop around the pole at the starting line and say you made it to the end. That's not the game. So all that being said, Cheeseland is unrunnable. Alright, Wildwoods looks like it's gonna be a fascinating, beautiful run at the very least. I have no idea which route to take here, but the one on the right looks like a bit less of a drop. Let's see. Consult the judges. Judges say that once again, whether or not this jump is doable is moot because of the impossibility of a later jump. As cool as it is, Wildwoods is unrunnable. Alright, this is just friggin' adorable. Right off the bat, I am a little sore because my best friend Dom is nowhere to be seen, so it's gonna lose a couple points there. And oof, this seems like quite a jump. Now hold on, let's go back and double check that. Now, that one does look like I could potentially count it, and yes, there's water in between, but you know, I have a very unique and interesting position doing these videos in that sometimes the decision I'm faced with is basically, do I think more people are gonna be mad at me if I count this or if I don't count this? And that's sort of the baseline anxiety that I live with. And at this point, I'm gonna say that more people would be mad at me if I didn't count it, so let's just go ahead and continue. Ooh, also I apologize for stepping on the pansies. And all the flowers, really. In Animal Crossing, I would never. In real life, I would never. Weird placement of logs there. Oh, let's be careful not to get swept away in the tide there. We of course stop to listen to KK because if you're given the opportunity to listen to the voice of an angel for free, you don't pass it up. Then we continue on, flip off Nook as we pass him, and that's actually gonna be our official end right there. Not doable. Animal Crossing is unrunnable. On to Wario's gold mine. Now that pollution in the back doesn't make it seem like it's gonna be the best air quality here, but oh my god, it's so much higher up than I remembered. My fear of heights is quaking. This incline, jeez, this is... Okay, what's next? Oh good, bats flying right at your face. Get your rabies shot before visiting Mario's gold mine. And then this jump is fortunately gonna be the end. We can check from a different angle and yeah, this isn't gonna work. Wario gold mine is unrunnable. Now Rainbow Road fans rejoice because this is actually the closest to the ground that any Rainbow Road has been thus far. So as far as oxygen and pressure levels are concerned, I'm gonna say that we can do this. But now that, you've gotta understand how insanely trying these tidal waves would be in real life. I don't know what the floor's made of. It looks like it might have a little bit of texture for grippage, but honestly your best bet is to get on the ground and cling on for dear life while it was waving and then make some progress when it was still. It's right on the edge of whether it's doable or not. Like, I personally would absolutely tap out as soon as I got to the wavy part and having to run under all these swamps. It's extremely terrifying and risky, but I have to put on my big brave Anna hat and pretend like I have guts. And when I do that, although it would still take a while to wade through all of the thwomp shenanigans, I'm gonna say congratulations SNES Rainbow Road, you are, for the first time, runnable. You know, for a course called Ice Outpost, there's not as much snow and ice as you would think. It's definitely not as dangerous as Sherbet Land, which, by the way, I just found out after making the last video was called Sherbet Land and not Sherbet Land, which is insane. Why would you do that, Nintendo? Anyway, this seems pretty straightforward. I didn't know at any given point which was the better route to take, so I just kind of guessed. I don't think it's probably too big of a difference, and as long as one of them works, that's what's important. However, whichever route we chose, that's clearly not gonna work, so Ice Outpost is unrunnable. Okay, now surely since Hylians have to traverse this land, a human could run Hyrule Circuit, right? And right at the beginning, we have this beloved, well-known Zelda character rooting us on, so I believe in us. We've got a beautiful scenic start, ignoring the rupees like we ignore the coins, and no, I wanted to go into the castle! They didn't even have like a drawbridge that could be dropped or anything. They really said no tourism. Sadly, Hyrule Circuit is unrunnable. Now this sucks. There are two things I hate, running and rain, and also a lot more. But this is another nightmare and definitely replacing Excite Bike Arena as my last place spot. Also feels dangerous? I mean, driving in the rain is dangerous. I guess running isn't super dangerous, but I'm still not happy about it. Brief respite from the rain in a tunnel, but oh yeah, right back to getting soaked. You know, this is all actually higher up than, oh my god, that was way too close. I really don't want to die here. And actually, this might be the end? Let's see. Okay, hold on, yeah, no, I'm gonna need further examination on that one. Yeah, okay, alright, that's fine. So unfortunately, that means Neo Bowser City is runnable. I'm to give Ribbon Road the same grace I gave TikTok Clock and imagine that everything is huge instead of us being shrunk down. Although it doesn't really matter because that right there is where this comes to an end, since I'm pretty sure there was a gap between where we jumped from and that white wall. Let's get a slow-mo instant replay on that? Yeah, we're gonna have to call this one. Ribbon Road is unrunnable. Running through a subway sounds absolutely terrible. 0 out of 10. And no one would be this enthusiastic about you running through the subway either. We're gonna stop at the turnstile and swipe our card like a law-abiding citizen. And this is where the absolute madness starts, because the platform empties directly onto the tracks. Are they insane? And there's no way to avoid crossing the subway tracks, so I guess we're gonna have to look both ways and pray. This is wild. We're obviously gonna stick as far off to the side as possible because of the friggin' trains. I'm so mad. Like, this is clearly not made for walking on. Why would they let us come down here? Don't know why they chose to put a safety cone here of all places, but considering the top route leads to a fall, we're probably better off taking the bottom route. Also, I watched trains come for a long time, and they all seem to go to the left side, so going the bottom path, get out of here. On the right side is actually, okay, never mind, we are truly safe nowhere. Then as one last middle finger, we have to run up a bunch of stairs before finally making it to the finish line. Super Bell Subway is irresponsibly runnable. Finally, our second F-Zero map, Big Blue, is once again oxygenated, so we don't have to worry about that. I love that the first part is downhill. Makes my job a whole lot easier. And we do have one doable jump here, but then this one here, this jump here, not so doable. Big Blue is unrunnable. So these are your runnable DLC courses in Mario Kart 8. Which one would you most like to run through? And which would you least like to run through? And why is it Neo Bowser City? Also, if I make a video covering the booster pack courses, would you all rather that be in 2 parts where I go more in depth about each level like I did in this video, or just 1 part where I kind of breeze through each level and just talk about the basics? Let me know. And thanks so much to everyone who subbed from the last video. We passed 20K and now we're on the quest for 30. Hop on board if you haven't already. I'm off to write a sternly worded letter to Hyrule Castle regarding their lack of accessibility, but I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!
Goombanna is the wonder why she didn't come to play. Gaming bits that'll make you laugh and think and put them on replay. Intelligent, kind of funny, her community's #1. Stick around and kick your feet up. Goombanna has just begun.